What's good, everybody? This is Y and Z, simply a conversation between the generations. Generations Y, aka the millennials, represented by yourself right here, Jay Clark, and them Z zombies, Z crazy people, the young ones. Xavier Lewis, my brother, how are you
Yes,
this week?
sir. I,
How was the holiday weekend, man? Cook out, get you some grub.
nah, man. You know where I was at? I was at work because
Oh,
inflation is crazy, and I'm trying to be a young black man with stable finances.
you good adult, young adult, you.
Oh, it was so rough, man. And
Man,
barbecue is not a really big thing in New Orleans anyway, so there's just not like really great, amazing barbecue in places.
but y'all
So,
got them boils because we definitely did
oh,
a
now, yeah,
crawfish
it's
boil
that
over the
time of
weekend.
year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that time of year for them boys.
Man, had some fat ones over the whoo, they was good. Yeah, good eats. Anyways, what we do here is we talk about every and anything pretty much. And what, sir, I got to pick your mind about this. Apple decided to take it upon themselves and put out a list of the 100 greatest albums of all time. How you feel about that, sir?
You know, First of all, Apple just be getting in business that ain't theirs. Let's just start there.
What do you mean, Apple
Getting people,
Music, man? What you mean it ain't theirs?
Apple got too much going on. I would rather take that from Spotify, which is solely for music. But I don't know. But I'll say this about the list. The list isn't the best list to me. It has some solid albums on there, solid song, all that kind of stuff, but I don't think it's just a banger list. You know what I'm saying? What's your thoughts on it, man?
How would you put the list together? I got questions. Like you
It's crazy. Did you survey 100 people? Like
So apparently, because people was like, so what's the qualifications here? Because you said top 100 greatest albums of all time
of all time.
based off of what? And so apparently, Ebro put out some tweet talking about they got a bunch of people in a room and talking. Who was in the room? How old were they? What have or have they not? List like there are so many questions about how this list was put together, and yeah, the fact that
Because
you
it's
had
across all genres, it's across all time periods, it's across all of that. It's supposed to be of all time.
I mean, I don't think I think it's pretty. It says all time, but it's probably what you want to consider the modern era. So we're talking like 40s, the last 100 years for the most part. But it's just the fact that you got Miseducation at number one.
Not saying that it's a bad album,
It's
not
not a bad
saying that.
album. It deserved to be on there somewhere. But number one
But Lauren Hill at number one
of
is
all time,
wild.
all time.
Wild.
Like I don't care what the metric is. There's only one album, one that should be at the number one spot, and it could be across any of these lists, and that's Thriller. That no album has ever done what that, and like you're trying to tell me a hip hop like, and it's no shade to hip hop or R&B, like it mass. We know there is a segment of culture that ain't checking out that Miseducation. So simply just
Hell,
off that, it can't be the
no.
best album of all time.
Some people don't even know who Lauren Hill is.
Right. You got to go with the like, but yeah, it's and then looking like demographic, like I saw a breakdown of the list, and it's got hip hop had the most selections like 21, but it's all pretty even. Rock had 18, pop 16, alternative whatever that is 14, R&B and soul is 11, then just kind of got pathetic after that. Even decades, 70s was 18, 80s was 17, 90s was 23, 2000 was 11, 2010s was 17, and three from the 2020s. Like that just seemed to be like we got to include something from everything because like there ain't no way no album from the 2020s. Hell, prob hardly even the 2010s. Some of the best stuff of all time, all time.
I'm trying to tell you. I don't know. I'm still stuck on this. Lauren Hill. Lauren Hill at number one. Like, I just want people to be serious. I just want people to be serious.
I don't know how you, like who was in the room, who was having this discussion because it's
And
like
saying, oh, yeah, Lauren Hill, number one.
nobody was like, no, no way. Like, come on now.
There was not just an extreme gasp over the room that would have stopped said person from putting Lauren Hill at number one.
What do you think about the whole like Whitney being snubbed?
Oh,
What
that's
like for
crazy. Oh, you know I'm crazy about that. Like, come on, Lauren Hill over Whitney.
I'll be honest, I don't know if there's a Whitney album that I'd call best of all time. Like
Now,
I can
that's very
understand
true.
Whitney maybe being
And
left off.
I
Album
think this is, we have to treat it like what it is, albums, not artists.
right, yes, right, exactly. And while Whitney's had some solid albums, some good albums, some great albums, I just don't know if like we're talking one top 100 of all, and I don't think people understand how much music you're talking about. Because I got my, you're gonna make me go into my studies here, pull up some data.
Bro, them
Let's see here. My drive. Where's my? So I did that analysis. I did an analysis of the Hot 100 over the decades and stuff like that. And so this is just the number of albums averaged a year that hit the top 40 of the Billboard 200.
mhm.
So on average in the 70s, 221 albums a year in the top 42 albums alone. 80s, 177. 90s, 216, 218. In the 2000s, it gets to 370. In the 2010s, it was 470. So you start to add that up. You're talking that's 4,700 popular albums from the 2010s, 3,700 popular albums from you're talking 20,000, 25,000 albums. That's just in the top 40. Who knows the stuff that we love that didn't hit that point? So you're possibly talking analyzing or trying to gather 30,000, 40,000 plus albums down to 100
Bro,
and no metrics.
it's wild. You know, it's Apple, so they can do that. But should they have done that? Nah, they shouldn't have did.
It was piss poor engagement farming, and unfortunately, we all fell
Lauren
for it. And
Hill
we all fell
at
for it.
number one.
We all fell for it. Y and Z conversation between the generations.
That's
We're gonna
crazy.
stick with some music here because folks just acting wild. This girl by
You gotta go with your top five first.
okay. Sorry about that. I jumped the
You
gun.
want to go hit for hit, or you want to go straight full five?
Oh, so okay, so we gonna get into our favorite since Apple did their thing. We gonna each give five of our top favorite albums of all time, personal favorite. So ain't no metrics here. This is simply a Jay Clark personal favorite and a Xavier Lewis personal favorite. Number one for you, sir. Go
I
five.
gotta put
Yeah.
All Things New, live version by Ty Tribbett. I gotta put gospel music at number one. Huge fan of gospel music, and Ty Tribbett is a musical beast.
Okay.
And that album right there, it flows smoothly, and it's a live version of an album. So, I guess it's cheating just a little bit. I guess it's cheating just a little bit, but the refining that he did on certain songs for live versions, it was really dope. So number
Mhm.
one got to be a gospel album, and that's Ty Tribbett, All Things New, the live version. Y'all gotta go listen to that joint. It's real smooth.
I don't have them in any particular order here, but I'm gonna match you with your first one. I have Kirk Franklin's The Rebirth. Just
What?
that
That's
album dropping
crazy.
at
I
that
didn't even
time.
know you would have had gospel on your list, bro.
Boy, that's a bad and just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorite top five. Just that period of time and how yeah, that
Kurt was on there, bro. He
yeah.
was on there.
Number two.
An Evening with Silk Sonic by Silk Sonic. That album was just, you can have your opinions. You can have them. But that album, the timing in which it was released, the whole thing about it, the album is set up like a live show, but
It's a
it's
fire.
a
It's a fire
wax.
project. Fire project. The setup and execution. I'll give it to you on that. Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Five of all time. Okay. Um.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was. I'll just get this one out the way. Usher's Confessions. High school. Like that was senior year of high school for me. In the whip with a license. Just
This is
monster.
your
Monster.
confession.
Monster. Monster. Beautiful time. Monster. Number two. There we go. What's number
Okay.
three, sir?
I got Gumbo Unplugged by PJ Morton.
Oh, you are young. Okay. Uh-huh.
Man, what? Yeah, man.
Solid.
PJ.
Solid.
PJ is different, man. I think he's one of the better musicians of our time. And he's really solid. That album is once again another live album of a already put down album. So I think it's really, really straight, really amazing. I can listen to that album over and over and over again.
Okay. Number three, slightly similar to you in this, but very much more classic. It's foundational probably for the album you were talking about. I just because of the love of old school and what it is just like perfection. Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
PJ is
it's
very, very
yeah.
influenced
But it's just
by
one of those, it's just
Stevie.
like you want to talk perfection. You want to talk with everybody, one of the ones that everybody would wish they had in their catalog.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones, and it's just like it's just representative of that era. Love music from that era, but that's one that's just like yeah. It's on
I'm
you,
gonna get
sir.
a I'm gonna
Number
get a
four,
hot I'm gonna get a lot of I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this. I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this.
probably because you real young with your list. Number four,
I'm gonna get like a lot of heat with this. Views by Drake. Let me just say this. Let me say this. Ah, 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 ah. Views by Drake at the time period of my life, just in high school, enjoying life, no bills, no money, and still just living it up. Views by Drake was amazing. And as a softer lover of hip hop and R&B, I told y'all before, I like Drake a lot because he makes hip hop and pop music for people who want to dabble in it but don't want to really dabble in it. And at that time, that's exactly the time I was on. So I could go back and listen to that album again and again and again and again and bump it like it just came out yesterday.
number four for me. And so since he just jumped out there with that, I'm safe to get out here with this because I'm not worried like that. But I'm gonna come a little left field. A group called Lifehouse. I believe it's their third album called Smoke and Mirrors. Is so yeah, a little rock flavor for you, a little of that
Oh,
that two
okay,
that two
okay,
K that two K
okay.
rock for you. It's an album they just in their pocket, and then on that album also they have a new live rendition of one of my favorite songs there, Everything. So yeah, that's a little left field for you. It ain't Drake.
Bruh, come on, man. People gotta admit, Drake has made some great albums.
Well, different taste over here, but yeah, Lifehouse, Smoke and Mirrors, number four. And finally, number five, what you got, sir?
My number five, man, is now my list is very young. But I think I mean, you had the opportunity to see her in person, and I haven't had the opportunity to see her in person yet. But Linger a While by Samara Joy, it's
Should
it's
actually
it's
she'll be here Friday. She's doing a performance here Friday, free. If the weather's okay, I
this is
might go see it.
this is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. This is what I be talking about. Samara Joy is just, to me, she's just one of those voices. It's a timeless voice. It still gives a little modern flair in there. It's a really great, great voice. And I think she'll just get better as time goes along with like her albums and everything. I think that was like it wasn't her debut album, maybe like her junior
No,
project.
her debut album.
Um, no, she had an album before that.
Oh no, you talking about the set? You talking about the? Okay, I know what you're talking.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it's like her junior album or whatever, but it's still like her sophomore album. I'm sorry, sophomore album. But I think the more she keeps going, it's gonna keep getting better. So I think Samara is really to be.
solid selection, but yeah, you got a real young five,
It's a real young list now.
real young
I
list.
was trying my best to, be young with my list because I think when it comes to the discussions of greatest of all times, I think it's always, really, really easy to go for your Michaels, Michael Jackson, your Princes,
And
even, a
speaking of
lot of
number five, speaking of number five, I gotta go with Bad. That album is just
really, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah. Like it's
I'm
my
I'm
favorite Mike
still to this
album out of them all, just because that is stadium music. You getting your ears blown off in my car with that album. Speaking of the greatest, yeah, yeah, number five.
Yeah. Mike is he's different, man. He wasn't just putting out bad singles. He was putting out whole albums of greatness.
So speaking of bad singles, um, who's top five you rocking with more? This is why. But speaking of bad singles, what we was about to get into before you got me back on track, um, PinkPantheress and her interview talking about songs don't need two choruses, two verses, a bridge, notes, music, all anything that makes it a song. It's,
It's one of the most stupid comments I've ever heard.
it's your generation in a box.
It's so stupid. What do you mean a song shouldn't be longer than what, 2.5 minutes is what she said?
I'm not even mad at the length one. I'm literally mad at all the substance. Like, yeah, we don't need verses. We don't need choruses. We don't need bridges. Like, what the hell you doing then?
Bro, they out here about to release a flute album.
Like,
I don't I'm unaware of my generation's true take on what music is. Like I'm very afraid, and this is why. Don't get me wrong. I have other reasons about why I try my best not to get into much of the club life scene. But I don't want to go to the club and listen to trash music.
it's not just music though with y'all. Like, this is symptomatic a little bit. Like, if we take it the bigger thing, or what I judge it to be the bigger thing, is y'all like to not have any type of boundaries, restrictions, requirements, standards, or things you have to live up to for anything. Like, well, like, and
This is this is
you just want to be
very
go with it and do whatever and it to be free. Like, as if standards and stuff are bad. Any kind of standard, any type of mark, any type of qualification. Y'all just
I
like, nah.
told you. It was their reaction to going like everything was so far right as far as like certain standards were just ludicrous, certain things were just outrageous. So now here's my generation going too far to the left, saying we don't need any at all, which is crazy because it's obvious that we do. We do need some standards. We need some semblance of regulation. Like, there needs to be a criteria that needs to be met in order for certain things to be certain things. Like, what do you mean? A song cannot be a song if it doesn't have a verse, a chorus, a bridge. You know?
And I kind of part of me, Loki gets what she's saying, but unfortunately, she ain't in no position to say it because part of it is like we'd have no problem, or we don't have a problem when somebody demonstrates their mastery and is able to present something of high quality that may be missing a bridge, or maybe is just a
Right,
long
right.
verse into another verse telling a story, or we are okay when you demonstrate mastery playing with the of the elements. That's okay.
These
But
songs
trying to be
out
like you don't
here,
need them, period.
these songs out here, they ain't showing mastery.
She,
They ain't
she doing
showing
like
mastery.
30-second rambles and is on TikTok and calling that a song.
Bruh, it's horrible. Like it's good for the moment. It's like what's being produced today in mass is like a bunch of earworms.
And
Like the part of the song that used to get stuck in your head, and now that's the whole song. And you're like, what?
I'm mad she's still here. 'Cause I remember I was at a label when she started the first breakthrough, and I happened to be we were pushing it, and I was just like, really? This is what we pushing? And to see that she's still around, I'm just like, my God, like
Bruh, she ain't it. She ain't it,
It's a
bruh.
sad state. It's a sad state. Lazy. Like, come
It's
on.
and I don't understand what it is. Like it, no, you're right. It's real lazy. People just want a big turnaround time. Like, what happened to songs, albums taking a little time to make? You know what I'm saying? You put some real thought into it, you sleep on it for a little bit, you come up with something new, you find that verse, you find that chorus, you find that bridge over time.
It's
But
too
the
easy to put it
turnaround
out now.
time,
It's too easy to put it out now. You can write and
too
produce it
easy.
in 3 minutes from your bed and have it on the Spotify like the next day. Like, it takes no time. But I'm curious. I want to ask you this before we get out of here. Why did you? I know you said it's because we were so far right that your generation decided to go so far left with standards and stuff. But I'm curious. Here's a thought: Do y'all just want to kind of throw everything out the door that came before? Because like it's a lot. Everything has been done that y'all don't know how to press forward or make your own mark with stuff. Like all the accomplishments have been made to an extent. It's been the new stuff has been created. It's been pushed forward to the point that it's just like y'all don't know where to go with things or feel like there's no space left to occupy with something new.
That's heavy. That's heavily a part of everything, right? There's like, what else is there to be done that can literally be said of our generation has been created by us that's gonna impact the world en masse? I doubt. I'm not saying that there isn't stuff to be done, but even then, how can we do it? And there's still so much fear of what's to come, right? Everybody is, I mean, the whole senses of the world right now is I miss back when. I miss back when. Nobody's thinking about what's next. Back then, everybody was thinking about what's next and not necessarily I miss back then, if that makes sense.
It was probably a mixture of the two. You definitely had you
Yeah, but
your
now
prior
there's no
generations are always going
mixture.
to miss back then, but you definitely had an air of there was hope and excitement for what was coming.
That hope and excitement is no longer.
True, true.
That is a no longer thing, right? So it's like everybody is just trying to recycle what's already been and creating the narrative. This is brand new. When it's not. It's not. Like everybody understand. We out here just recycling it. Like there's nothing genuine, and I'm not gonna say it's not genuine, but there's just like nothing new in mass being created for the most part. So it's yeah, it's kind of like what you said. It's like what space is there left to occupy?
It's hard for y'all, man.
Yeah, man. That is the hard part, is finding out how in the world do you leave a mark on the world that is so oversaturated.
And I know and that's not just y'all struggling. That's everybody struggling. But I feel like
Right,
y'all are
right, right.
struggling
But
with it
it's like
more
it's what
because
we're
y'all
coming
are,
into,
yeah, you're all coming into it, and it's like the room just crowded, huh?
bruh. Crowded, crowded. Like I ain't gonna say Thanos was right, but good God. Oh my God. I don't know what we gonna talk about. I mean, I don't know if we ain't got the resources or not. But as far as like mental capabilities and mental resources, we running thin on them. We are running thin on them.
I mean, y'all are overburdened. Y'all
Man, I'm
y'all
telling you,
y'all y'all have just have had so much at your door, at your plate.
like it's hard. It's harder now. I'm not gonna say it's harder now to get your name out there, but it's harder for stuff to stick. I'll put it like that. It's harder for
Oh yeah,
stuff to stick.
nothing's sticking. And even if it does stick, it's like 15 minutes of fame ain't even 15 minutes no more.
No, it's a couple seconds. You got a
Yeah.
couple seconds of fame, and you better capitalize on it. Or else, and then, you got people that have their 15 seconds, they'll back away. You don't know where they went for 5 years. Then they come back and get another 15 seconds and disappear again. It's just literally the world we live in. Um, and we just have to try to make the most and the best of it. Because like I said, in mass now, there is no hope and excitement for what's to come. In mass, there's just a general fear of what's to
Yeah,
come.
it's a very uncertain time, that's for sure. And that's
Yeah.
even That's across the board as we see on just this. That's just on the news. That's on
I know
on
what I'm saying. It's like, how in the world is every facet of life just like the future? The future.
well. So what's interesting is like I think about it. It's like when I was a kid, like you had that hope, but you also have like especially like those '80s movies painting dystopian dark points of futures or the days
Yeah.
past the dystopian point, and the years are always fun. It's like 2030, 2035, or the 2020s. It's kind of like are we headed towards that? Are we headed towards
Right,
that?
bro. It's crazy. It is crazy. I'm always watching X-Men and I'm just waiting for one day for somebody to be popping up with a mutation. And I'm just like, oh God. Oh God.
It'll
If
still be
somebody pops up with some mutations, what is there else to be done?
Give me Wolverine's powers. I'm good.
I don't want Wolverine powers, man.
So I guess we too old for that. We passed that time. So
Oh man, give
no.
me oh, that's a good question. If I had to have one of the X-Men
Who
powers, who
would
would I
you?
have?
Who would you have?
Mm, I'm gonna say that for next week. Say that for next. I need time to think on that one.
Okay. See,
I need time to think on that.
that just shows you wasn't a real '90s kid because '90s kid that was one of
But
them. You
it's
knew
so
your
many
answer.
good
You
ones.
knew
If
what
you
your
could tell
powers
me
wanted
I
to be.
could mix and blend, I will mix and blend.
I see now you go.
But just
Now you
one
see
person's.
there you go being Gen Z, not following the qualifications for the answer. Try oh no, I'm not just gonna give you an answer. I'm
I
a
want
I'm
to
a
pick and
blend it. I'm
choose.
gonna do this and this and this and that. No, no, ain't no character blended. You pick a character.
Boo, boo.
This Y and Z conversation between the generations, as we see, one knows what it is. I would say the millennials, the others, they just doing whatever, self-admittedly. Anyways, like, share, subscribe, comment below your thoughts. If you got a question for either side, you want to know something about either generation, we'll see. Just post it and we'll get into it. We'll get into your take. And watch out. You never know. Gen Alpha made an appearance last week. We might have some X show up sometimes. So we don't get
Hey,
funky with
hey.
it. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. J Clark 787, the real Xavier Lewis. Until next time. I can really see your mustache define this week, sir. I'm proud of the
Yeah,
growth.
man.
We moving forward. We moving.
We are moving forward with hope and excitement.
There's still hope. Amen. Until next time. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.